Mountain, Island, Lightning Bolt, Spell Pierce, Switchblade, Stab Wound, Red Mage, Blue Mage.
All right, get this podcast started.
Let's get this podcast started. It's Red Mage, Blue Mage. With me, Kenny.
And me. Oh, Amber.
Thank you.
Did you really need my name at this point after our 7,000th episode? Podcasting. All right, hi, I'm Amber.
Thank you.
If you're new, I'm the Red Mage.
I'm the Blue Mage.
There you go.
Very nice.
Now let's get this potty started. Oh boy. Whew.
Well, it's good. We haven't recorded a normal talk show episode of Red Mage, Blue Mage in quite a bit, so it's only appropriate that we're catching up with each other. In the magic catch-up storm.
We're playing magic. Oh my god. In the magic ketchup storm. I like to imagine that it's a tornado made of actual tomato ketchup.
That's what I always think too. That's what I'm imagining in my head. Magic ketchup. So, what is there to catch up on? You've been playing some Magic?
I have been playing Magic, and I've been doing it in a new, for me, realm. The Internet Zone. The online digital playground.
The World Wide Web.
Called Arena. So I've been playing Arena more frequently now. I have a friend, Victoria, of the show, the TTRPG actual play show that's Dungeons & Dragons based currently, called The Broadswords, and we play Arena every Saturday morning, or try to play Arena every morning on Saturday, and...
Just for fun.
Just for fun, yeah. What? Magic for not content? What? Yes, I play Magic for fun, now more often, and it's because I'm trying to make a friend, and I haven't played a lot. Like, I kind of played Arena a couple times when it first was available. When it first came out, I had to do boot camp on my Mac and log on to Windows on my machine,
right,
in order to
because
play.
It was not available on Mac OS.
Yes, now it is. It's now available on Macs, and so I can play it, and I have started to realize I need to play more if I want to catch up and stay competitive against Just Victoria, because we're just playing like historic decks. Like, we will ask, do you want to do standard? We're not standard players. We mostly just do historic and build fun decks, and she stomps me a lot because I'm usually just playing the pre-constructed, like, if you start playing Arena, you usually go through tutorials and you unlock decks, and as you unlock decks, they are also rewarded to you, these pre-constructed decks. And I've been using those, and they are not good against people who know what they're doing.
Well, is she playing, maybe, I don't know if you would know this, is she playing like standard decks? Like
no,
actual lists?
No, she's making her own.
Okay.
A lot of the time she's making up her own because she plays against other people too. I think her other friend, they play with each other, and she likes to build decks to aggravate that person. And for me, she's obviously being kind because I don't have cards. I don't have a lot of stuff. And her whole deal is she loves lifelink flyers. Which I told her, I'm like, flying is like the perfect ability in my book. I think it was like my number one ability, or number two or three or whatever, because it's just like
their favorite mechanics.
It's just so specific, and there's only so many ways to deal with flying, and it has to be in specific ways with other flyers, or with things with reach, with people with reach, with cards with reach on them, or things that deal specifically with flyers. Otherwise, it's just, good luck, I guess, dealing with this. So, and she is like, her deck that she loves to play with, I don't even know what she named it. I should ask her what the names are of her decks, because I've made some names that are pretty fun. But so she is the deck that is ridiculous has like a Johnny's Pride Maid in it, and like it's all about just every time something happens, she gets life.
Every time, yeah. And then every time you gain life, your creatures get bigger.
Yeah, stuff like that. So that's what she plays. And so in response to that, I was like, well, let me just cobble together a deck real quick just so I have one. And I called it IDEK. I don't even know. And it's a bunch of Spellgorger weirds and goblin stuff. And it's just basically a way to aggressive burn, because I just want my Spellgorgers to get huge as fast as possible to beat down her life.
Sure. To beat down her life.
Yeah. I can't remember the last one we played. I think she had, I mean, nothing, I know that's like, there's more ridiculous numbers out there, but she had like, I don't know, close to 100 and something life. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. I'm never going to win this game. You're just gaining life. I can't kill you. We're going to deck each other before I could even, yeah. So
how have those games been going? Have you pulled off any wins?
No. I think once or twice. And that was only when she was not playing her, like, she's like, I'm going to try out this one because I haven't played it in a long time. And it's those decks with my Spellgorger weird deck that I get to kill her at all. So, like, I think
I was going to say...
Yeah, go ahead.
The life gain deck is, like, perfectly suited against the kind of decks that you like to play.
Yeah, but, so now that I've been playing with her for a while, a couple times, I'm like, okay, I got to play. Well, recently we went to Target. Brandon and I went to Target, and they had some jump starts.
Yep.
And I was like, he was like, holy shit, like I gotta get these. So he grabbed all they had for Jumpstart, and then we came back.
'Cause they're hard to get your hands on.
Yes,
right?
Yes. We came back and we played a few games, and I ended up getting dog vampires. That had a deck that had the dog that like makes it so all other dogs get +1/+1, and if it's attacking, all combat damage is prevented to dogs. Plus, I had Vito of the Thorn Gardens, or the Rosy Thorn Vito. I can never remember what his name is.
Dean of the Thorn, I think.
King of the Thorns, the Rose God Vampire Man. Who his whole thing is when you gain life, your opponent loses that much life. Yep. And he also has an activated ability where he gives all your creatures lifelink. So I ended up doing a thing with the dogs and vampires where I gave my dogs lifelink. He's out there, and then my dogs are nipping and a biting and a growling and a getting at it, and they're just destroying. And so from there, I was like, dang, here's a deck I could play. Here's a deck that I would want to play. An arena, and I think would be good against Victoria. So instead of just doing white or white, because usually her decks are just pure white, maybe some white blue or white green, I was like, well, I'm gonna go white black then. And so I did start building a deck in arena, using up all my mythic wild cards and all of my overtime gathered up wild cards, and I built a arena historic deck that I'm calling Hades. And this ties into a web comic that I recently just destroyed in one day. For 12 hours, I just read a web comic and completely caught like 167 chapters of this web comic called Lore Olympus. And the main character, Hades, he's has a bunch of dogs. And so I was like, ooh, this is fun. And I could just do like, Vito is my Hades, and my doggies are my doggies. And so I started to build that, and it was pretty freaking brutal. I should have brought my deck list up, but I had to tweak it because I couldn't stay on point with just dogs. It didn't make sense, and I couldn't stay on lock with vampires because there's just cards out there that are too good. So I ended up doing things like making smarter decisions, like getting rid of 4 Bane Hounds and putting 4 Soul Wardens in. Because a Bane Hound is just like, it's just a dog that has like haste. And I was like, nah, let's do Soul Warden, who cost 1, and every time a creature enters the battlefield, you gain a life. So I basically tweaked it now where I've got it where I think it's really good and would probably surprise her when we finally get to play again.
Wow. Let's hope she doesn't listen.
She probably doesn't. Who has time to listen to podcasts when you're busy making podcasts?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like, what's the last podcast you listened to?
Why Won't You Date Me by Nicole Byer.
Yeah, see, that's the last pod. I actually listened to podcasts today, all day today.
I was gonna say, what are you talking about?
It's for work. You're
full of shit.
It's for me to get through my work day. I need to hear Nicole Byer having a good time, entertaining herself. So,
I think that's why a lot of people listen to podcasts, to whittle away the dreary hours until you die. Finally.
Wow. Okay, so that's what I've been doing with Magic.
Well, I've also waded into the world of Arena, which, you know, you and I, way back when, we played a few initial rounds with, as you were saying, the pre-constructed decks, and then I just hung it up for a long time. And eventually I was like, I need to get back into it because I do want to start playing on Arena, and I started playing through those tutorial games again. And it's like, you have to do the color challenges first, and I forget, it's like you have to do 5 matches with each of the decks or something like that. It's an insane amount of matches you have to play with them before they finally take off the training wheels and say, okay, you can go out there and play other people out in the wild. And I was like, there has to be another way. There's no way they made every player go through this. And there is. You can go in under the settings, you can skip that stuff, which I did because I wanted to draft. I wanted to do actual drafts. And it's like, I don't need to do these.
Why,
yes.
though? Because the problem with that, I think, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure those color challenges, you get rewards for that. You get gold or whatever, which you can use gold to then buy packs, which you need to buy packs in order to get wild cards, and then wild cards are how you actually get to get the cards that you want.
Yes, but it all depends on how you want to play on Arena. So there's a really good Twitch streamer, Ryan Spain, who is a former co-host of Limited Resources, a former Wizards employee, and now he's a Twitch Magic streamer with a channel called Going Optimal. And the entire point of the channel is, how do you play optimally on Arena? And one of the big things he does is he started an account for this Twitch stream, and all he's done is bought the $5 intro pack. That's the only money he's put into this account, and he just plays it all the time. And he's kind of teaching you how to be self-sustaining, how do you get the most gold and gems and all this stuff out of it. But the thing is that, like, if I jump in and I just want to play drafts, this is the kind of Magic I want to play. I understand you're completely right that I should do these color challenges to get more gold so I can do drafts for free. Mm-hmm. But that requires me to play these games that I don't really want to play. I don't want to play against the bots. I want to play against real human players, and I want to draft the new set.
I also don't want to go to work, but, you know, I gotta live. You know, I gotta feed me. I gotta get more boxes of Crackling Oat Bran. Like, I can't not get my Oat Bran. I need that.
But I don't have to play the bots. That's the difference.
It's free money. It's free money.
No, they're making you put in work. And that's one of Ryan Spain's points, is he's like, you have to pay to play one way or another. And you're either paying money or you're paying time. It's
and
like,
I would rather do time. But
I
some
would
would say time
cash.
is money. So either way, it doesn't really matter.
No, I mean, I'm putting in time as in, like, the work that I'm doing for my job.
I needed to do those color challenges because, another thing too is you get to unlock decks. So, like, if you do the color challenges and you get more cards, I can see myself doing Brawl, because, like, I love when they do events on Arena, and it'll be fun to do stuff like that in the future. I know we've talked about it before. I feel like I'm having a bit of deja vu right now. I would love for him to have Commander one day, But that would require a lot of work. But that's not to say they couldn't do it. I bet you there's plenty of. I mean, my God, the Commander community.
I mean, they could release Commander on Arena right now.
I mean, they have,
and just say it's only with the cards that are available.
Yeah,
on Arena,
I mean, they kind of do that because, like, right now, like when I was trying to build my my Hades deck, I had Soul Warden, right? But there's another card. I think they're called like together they're called Soul Sisters because it's basically the same thing. They don't have that card on Arena yet because it's historical, and they're, I'm sure, working through a backlog of cards, you know.
I'm sure, but the same token, I don't know if it's kind of a catch-22 for Wizards. Because on the one hand, I'm sure they want Commander to be a thing on Arena because it's like their most popular format in the entire game. On the flip side, the problem with Commander from their perspective is that people build their decks and then you just have your deck forever. You don't have to update it. You don't have to buy new cards for it if you don't want to. And so for them, it's like now they're hosting you to play your Commander games and you're not buying new products.
But no. It would, that's so silly because it's just like Arena opens up that opportunity for someone like me to be able to go through and make a highly searchable, highly findable way to look at cards and to get them and make a deck. I find deck building in Arena so much easier than me trying to go on Scryfall or someplace and like going, oh, I think that looks good, or I think that looks good. And then I have to write it down, and then I have to go to like TCG Player or whatever, and then hunt for cards, and then buy that stuff, right? Yeah. And those cards already post-market. It's that money that I'm buying from TCG is like, it's already not going back to Wizards' pocket. It's going into the card games, the game shop stuff. So my thing is, once you get them in, you want to get people in. Okay, this sounds weird, and it's true of like Apple and everything. It's like once you're in that garden, it's hard to leave that garden, right? And I am just a lazy person who just wants everything to be in one place because as my brain gets older, I am realizing I can't handle information anymore. And I just want one place where my cards live, and then I can just go in and go out. And then also, I log in and I'm like, bloop, blop, sheep, shop, bloop, blop. There's an event going on. There's this happening. Look at this. Look at that. And I'm like, ooh, engage. Ooh, my friends are doing this. Ooh, there's a Commander tournament. You know, I can enroll in that and do this fun thing. And that's how they get you.
It is, yeah. So I've started playing Draft, and they've done twice now. I have not taken part in either of these yet, but I kind of want to for the next one. For Kaldheim and Strixhaven, they have had arena sealed, I don't forget what they call them, opens. I think they call them open tournaments. And you can join in. I don't know what the entry fee is, but it's like you pay, $30 or $40 or $50, whatever it is. You get a sealed pool, you build your deck, and you go online and you play games against other people who built in the same tournament. And it's a 2-day tournament, and if you make it to day 2 and get 7 wins, you can win $2,000.
All right. See?
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's win thousands of dollars. Pay off my student loans.
With magic.
With magic. Sure.
It is kind of disgusting though, because you can re-enter multiple times. Which obviously means, on average, of course, you're going to be losing money, but it's pretty neat. The people that I follow have put out good results, so it's a skills-based thing. You can go in there and win money. It's neat.
Did you say it was standard?
No, so it's sealed.
Oh, sealed.
So
okay.
So you get 6 packs of Strixhaven, and you have to build a deck out of that.
Sorry, I was still thinking about how I just want everything to be in one place, and I didn't hear the part where you said Strixhaven and the other one,
Kaldheim.
That one.
Well, that's just going off what you said about already being here. Like, I'm already in Arena now. I already am drafting, and it's like, here's this cool tournament where you can win money and take part in this event. And it's like, well, I'm here already, so
yeah,
why
and
not?
I've got my credit card information stored in this thing.
Right. I already made my $5 purchase. And that's another thing Ryan Spain said, is that's why they give you such a good deal on that opening pack, is they want you to put your information in there. So that later you're like, click.
Yeah, I mean, why do you think Apple iPhone purchases are so easy for me? I'm like, oh, here's my thumbprint. Give me my apps. Give me my Webtoon coin so I can read ahead in my webcomics. Yeah, or like when I buy like stickers for Line chat service, I have spent way too much money on stickers and Line, but they were well spent because I use Line every single day of my life for the last 5 years of my life.
Yeah, my big version of that is skins in League of Legends. I don't know how much money I've spent in League, and I don't want to know.
I don't want to know how much money I've spent on Magic, because that will also make me vomit, especially when in the past.
You mean lifetime?
Yeah, lifetime.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, from when I first started playing Magic when I was like... because when I first started playing Magic, and we've talked about this, probably in like
you
the
were
first...
a drafter.
I was a drafter. I was going to Friday Night Magic events almost every... at least 3 Fridays out of every month. And on top of that, I was buying cards and and booster packs and boxes and whenever a new set came out, buying a bunch with a bunch of friends. And I also was at a point where like I have disposable income now, but not as much as I would like, because I also have like a house and car payment and insurance and a dog. And before all that, I just had my job. And I split rent 3 ways.
So you were living big in the Magic world.
And I just gave it all away. All of those cards, all of my decks, just gave it all away.
So that's funny, because in my college experience, I wanted to be part of the Magic club on campus, the student-run club. And at that time, all I did was, jank constructed, basically. And the club, all they did was draft. And so it was like this weekly meeting where you have to buy into a draft. And I was like, I don't have any money, so I can't play.
See, I worked all through college.
Yeah. Anyway.
I was shooting daggers.
Let's move on quickly then to the next topic. Some breaking news.
Dateline, Dominaria, 4823. This is your multiverse breaking news.
Now, you have no idea what this news is, right?
What is news? I don't look at anything on the internet. Although I want to start with my news first.
Oh, true.
Because I shared it with you.
You did, so you can tell me and the listeners about this.
Yeah, so I think as of May 14th, this episode, I don't know when it's going out, but we were recording it before May 14th.
It should go up next week, so It should be pretty recent.
Okay, so May 14th. As of May 14th, Target is no longer going to be selling like MLB, NFL, like sports cards or Pokemon cards. And it is it's not Magic the Gathering specific related, but it is TCG, obviously related. And I just think it's the reason why they're not doing this is because people are super aggressive and are getting violent when it comes to buying out cards. Because if you are a collector, you know that stores stock things on certain days. And so people will literally camp out or wait for cards to be stocked or restocked. And then there are fights breaking out in the store and in the parking lot. And to the point where I think even like guns have been drawn. And instead of being like, get your shit together, people, you're banned, we're not going to sell them at all because it just invites too much. We can't control it and we need to protect our people. So it basically, people can't act nice and therefore we can't have nice things.
It's a real jingle all the way kind of scenario.
Yeah, or Furbies or Tickle Me Elmos and all that shit where people are like stomping people to death for paper.
Yeah. So what's your initial reaction to this idea and this story?
There's two things happening. One, I think it's interesting from a TCG point, and like I think Wizards should be careful about doing things. I don't know. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know how much of the collectability put into by companies versus people's perceptions and like perceived notions of scarcity and like what people are realizing in this new trend with the Pokemon boxes being opened. Remember, like for a while there, I think maybe it's still happening, people opening up boxes and then pulling rares from sealed boxes.
Box breaks are still a big thing.
Box breaks. So I think box breaks are playing into this a lot. And so people are hyped up over it because they're like, well, I buy this now. 20 years from now, I'm going to be making $18,000. Well, it hurts my brain. So I'm wondering how much is people's perceptions, people realizing, oh, this is a collectible thing, and then how much it is, Wizards or whoever else is putting stuff out there that are building in this scarcity. So I just think I don't think it's anything that is responsible for a company or from a store. I think people just need to get their fucking shit together.
Yeah. There's always, I think we've brought this up many a time on this show, but it reminds me of the Papi Van Winkle thing again.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a very special bourbon that gets released once a year. It's like it's like a 10-year aging process where it sits in the barrel. This is what they say. Yeah. And so they only have a limited supply. It takes 10 years. So they can't make it any faster than they did 10 years ago. So it's this really limited supply. It's supposed to be very good, I guess, depending on who you ask. But it is a collectible whiskey. And the show that I first heard about it, well, not the first time I heard about it, but went into depth on it, was Criminal, the podcast Criminal. And they were talking about at this bar, the bar owner with this great move was like, we're just going to do like Jell-O shots with Papi Van Winkle, and just gave it away. And people were furious, like to the point of sending death threats about wasting this stuff. And it's just so absurd.
It's like how I hate the term doorbuster. There is no material object that would ever cause me to bust down a door. A loved one? Yes. My dog? Absolutely. A freaking Furby? No. Like, I'm sorry. Life is
Well, what is the most, like, think about the most prized possession you have. Would you door bust for that?
I can't even tell you what my most prized possession is.
I'm kind of in the same boat.
I mean, you have your cube.
I think that's the difference is that, well, and also like my cube, what has given that the value to me is building it up over time and the thought that I put in to make it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
You have that recorded digitally, so you could theoretically reconstruct it if you need to.
Yeah, I could.
And so,
but like for example, like if people do just make and sell cubes. I would not door bust for a cube.
I'm like looking around my house trying to remember what I own.
There's nothing. You're on a pallet right now.
Yeah, I know. And it's stark. Well, yeah, it's very stark in here. It's Tony Stark. I think the things that would make me like the most sad to lose would be like things that I created.
Yeah.
Like all my knitting stuff, my artwork.
Can I branch off what you're saying there about like what would cause you to door bust?
Oh, bustin'.
I think that one thing that Wizards has done where we've had our criticisms and our remarks about Secret Lair. I think this is kind of a cool thing about Secret Lair is that the collectors can get it and you don't have to sweat it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If you want this collectible item, you place an order and you get collectible item and they print it based on the demand that they get.
Yeah.
So it's good for Wizards because they make exactly the amount that people want. It's good for collectors because you can get your hands on it.
Yep.
In the amount that you want. and they release it and it's done, and so the collectors can know this will accrue value because it's not going to be released again.
And if you missed out on it, it's really just you missed out on it because you didn't. Like, I realized, like, in March, I forgot to buy the Valentine's Day special Goblin one that
Goblins
I want. I completely
and
forgot
Angels,
it.
right?
Yeah, it was Goblins and Angels. Completely missed out on it. And you know what happened? I went, oops, I missed it.
Daisy. Yeah.
Because, like, for me, it's not, like, a thing that I would have, like, I don't know, man. It's just very strange. Anyway, that's my piece of news. You can't buy Pokemon cards at Target, which is not relevant to this Magic the Gathering podcast.
But no, I think it's an interesting note. I think what you're talking about, how this is a business built on the reality or the illusion of scarcity.
It's kind of like, yeah, planned obsolescence kind of deal, except planned scarcity.
Artificial scarcity.
Yeah, artificial scarcity.
Right. Like, fetch lands are rare because they don't want to print more of them. They could.
Oh, absolutely.
Release a set that was just thousands of fetch lands. But they don't want to do that.
Well, and it's not, like we've talked about before, it's not just, there's a whole economy based around this now. It's so intertwined with game stores and people who actually make money doing this.
The thing, I'll just say this and then we can get on to the rest of the breaking news. But the thing that's most interesting to me about that is that Wizards' official stance is that they do not recognize the secondary market.
That's funny.
They pretend it's not a thing.
But they obviously know, and
they obviously know it's a thing, and obviously they make decisions based on the secondary market. You'd have to be a fool not to.
Oh, we don't see it. Peeking. Oh,
what's happening? I don't
know. Oh, they're exchanging. Is that a drug deal? Oh, look away.
Oh, they pulled a gun. Whoopsie.
All right, whatever. Move on from it. That's my one topic.
Okay, so the rest of this is going to be me reading the recent news and then your reactions to it. So this is announcements from the mothership. Welcome to the Summer of Legend. That's what the name of the article is.
Oh, why do these always make me laugh so much?
Yeah, okay, get ready. I'm just going to read the opening 3 lines, all right?
Okay.
Epic, grandiose, multidimensional, at home, in store, on screen. Your choice, your fun, your way. Burger King. I added that last one. She took the glasses off. She's rubbing her eyes.
I think it's just fun when... I think it's funny. And the only reason why I read it's funny is because I almost read it like it's self-aware. I don't think it is self-aware.
Yeah.
But I'm reading it like it is. To me, it is so over the top, like, inflated, grandiose. It just feels so silly to me because when I play Magic or I think about Magic the Gathering, I don't think epic. You know what I mean?
Multidimensional.
That is not what I think about Magic. I think of like sitting in a basement in a dog's piss, stepping in a piss puddle because some dog peed down there, and we're sorting cards. We're like, no, don't get the piss on the cards. That's my Magic the Gathering flashback.
Where have you been playing? That's not my place.
In my friend's basement when I was like 20.
Yeah, this isn't even an exaggeration, is it?
No! I was sorting cards out on a table, and then I was like, I gotta get up. And I, like, walked over, and I had pajama pants that were really long, and I went, slap, slap, slap. Oh, God, I'm in a huge fucking Lake Superior-sized puddle of piss.
It's like, when I think of Magic, I tend to think of things like, you were talking about you playing with Victoria, of like, my friend built a deck, and I can't beat it, so I'm going to build the deck that beats my friend's deck. And I think about, like, fun plays and, you know, the stories. That's what I tend to think about.
I forget everything except for the tactile experiences that I've had with things.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's funny. Like, the whole marketing of Summer of Legend.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry. I plan on eating a bunch of s'mores and laying down on the ground a lot, so I'm like...
What a legend.
Well, I mean, that is a legendary life, I guess, if you think about it.
Or if you don't.
Keep going with this article.
Okay, so they're basically going through, and remember at the beginning of the year, they were like, here's our roadmap for the different sets that are going to come out. So this is the next step of that, where they're actually giving you more information about what those sets will be like.
Okay.
So the next set that's going to come out is Modern Horizons 2.
Okay. Electric Boogaloo.
Which is like Modern Horizons, the first one. It's a set that's going straight into Modern, skipping over Standard. So these are sets that are going to be legal in Modern, Legacy, and Vintage.
Yep.
And the biggest news I would say is that, as I mentioned earlier, the fetch lands, they actually are reprinting the fetch lands in Modern Horizons 2. At least one cycle of them. So the enemy fetch lands, Arid Mesa, Marsh Flats, Misty Rainforest, Scalding Tarn, Verdant Catacombs, those will be reprinted at rare in Modern Horizons 2, which is great. I've watched reactions to it, and I think some people are negative just to be negative, but I think this is only a good thing. This is nice that they're being reprinted. Put those cards out there into the world. And not only are they being reprinted, they're also getting the extended full art treatment.
Nice.
And they're getting the old card frame treatment.
Oh, like whiteboarder?
No. Like old cards, like from the 90s with like the brown background.
No.
Do you want me to send it to you?
Let me just imagine what that looks like. I can imagine.
Imagine. I'll send it to you in the Discord.
I don't want it.
There you go.
Oh, okay. That's what I was thinking about.
Which I think is actually pretty neat because the original fetch lands were printed in this style, and these are These are newer cards. These have never gotten this frame treatment before, so it's cool if people want to have all old frames for their fetch lands. Now you'll be able to do that, and it's also neat.
Dollars.
Yes, and it's also cool because for people who don't care about the card frames, the fact that there are these new flashy card frames will make the price of the regular card frames go down. So it's just kind of nice.
Okay.
All right.
I don't care about fetch lands. Did I?
Well,
I don't think so.
No, you don't. You don't have to care about fetch lands because you don't play older formats.
No.
And yeah, that's the only reason you would care is if you play modern or older formats than that, then it matters. Otherwise, it doesn't. They have spoiled a few of the cards. The big news, the two big pieces of news besides the fetch lands for modern are Counterspell is printed in modern, like blue counter target spell. Never been in modern before. Pretty exciting. And then the one I did talk to you with a little bit this past weekend is Urza Saga, the card.
Yeah.
So let me read it for the listener. If you have not seen this before, I encourage you to check it out because it is a very complicated card. This is Urza Saga. It is an enchantment land, and it is a saga. So when you first play it, Chapter 1 is Urza Saga gains tap, add a colorless mana. Chapter 2, it gains 2 tap, make a 0/0 construct, artifact creature that gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. And then Stage 3, search your library for an artifact card with mana cost 0 or 1. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. That is a lot of action on a single card. What do you think of this card?
I mean, I'm not going to use it. So I don't think anything of it.
Well, what do you think of it from a card design perspective?
Oh, okay. If you ask it like that, I don't know. I think it's, does it just, like a saga, does it just disappear after the turn 3?
Yep. So it's a land. You play it as your land drop, and then 2 turns later, it will go to the graveyard. Assuming nothing funky happens.
I mean, assuming somebody doesn't say, get rid of that land, remove target permanent, or dispel enchantment, or whatever.
Right. So it does have an interesting vulnerability built into it, which is if your opponent has a disenchant, they can just blow up your land.
Yeah, I don't even get to do... Like, to me, it seems like... I don't know. Like, you would use it for a specific reason, obviously, to get whatever 0/1 artifact that you need to get out of, which there's plenty of good ones.
Tons and tons of them.
So that it's just a way to get a, what do you call it when you go dip looking around in your deck, when you're like you gotta like what's that term, what's that magic term, I'm failing my test all over again. It's, you gotta go, it's not a fetch land, it's like something else. You bringing out
A tutor?
Yeah, that word. Tutoring for an artifact. I hope you keep all of that in.
Definitely.
You know, when you're looking for you're looking for a specific.
I thought maybe you were talking about the term silver bullet, which this card is good for too. So
I've
silver bullet,
never heard of that word.
So, I mean, you know what silver bullet is.
Yeah, you kill a werewolf.
Right. So the idea of a silver bullet in Magic is you have like one copy of a card that's needed for an exact specific situation, and then you have ways to search for it in your deck.
Yeah.
That's a silver bullet.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like that.
So this card will let you search up artifact silver bullets that cost 0 or 1, of which there are many, many of them.
Yep.
Pything Needle, Tormod's Crypt, Relic of Progenitus. There's tons of artifacts that are very versatile at 0 and 1 cost.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's a neat card. I can't help but look at it and think it's busted.
So,
it just does.
I was like,
it does so many things. Like, how could it not be busted?
I'm just waiting for people. I'm sure people, as of whenever this came out, are already going. I'm gonna make a busted ass deck off of this, and are already figuring out ways to make it a very broken, ridiculous combo deck with this thing.
I think that's completely possible. I mean, at the very least, in Vintage, when Chapter 3 goes off, you get to search for Black Lotus, which you can only have one copy of in your deck anyway. So it's kind of like a second copy of Black Lotus, granted on a little bit of a delay, but I don't know. It just feels like there's definitely got to be some busted stuff with
Smarter
this.
Magic players than I have already figured this out, and good for them.
Yep.
But not for me. Goodbye, Urza Saga. Next topic, please.
Next up will be the next major set, which is Dungeons and Dragons: Adventures in the Forgotten Realms.
There it is.
So, previews for this will begin June 29th, which is, I just looked at that date, that's shockingly soon.
Hey, you know what? Everything runs at a breakneck speed now.
So there's some cool stuff here. So one thing they spoiled, and I think this is actually the part I like the most, even though it's maybe the most simple, they spoiled the basic lands. And the cool thing about them is that each of the basic lands has flavor text on it, which you don't usually get. And the flavor text for each one is the hook for a D&D adventure.
Okay, cool.
So for the plains, it says, venturing beneath the desert sands, you've discovered an alien power pulsing with inconceivable energy. Or for the mountain, as you make camp near the ancient ruin, you hear the sound of drums echoing in halls where no dwarf has lived in generations.
Okay.
So it's just kind of neat. I think that's a cool unexplored area, as like flavor on a basic land. And as a role-playing game fan, I don't know, I just think it's really neat.
Yeah, that's neat.
You don't care.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm just burned out by like how much new shit is, and I'm also kind of over D&D. But don't let anybody know. Psst, don't let anybody know that I'm kind of over D&D. I'm excited, I guess. No, I'll be real. I played D&D 3.5 for 7 years straight. And even then, I was not a person who was invested in the actual lore of Dungeons and Dragons. We did all of our own campaign settings and all of our own stuff, and we just borrowed kind of from things. So getting a D&D set is pretty cool, but also like I'm so disconnected from the lore of it that I'm not like if cards come out. Not the basic lands are cool. Like I was just thinking and projecting my head forward. If there are like actual characters and stuff, like if you get, you know, what's his face? The Drow.
Drist?
Yeah, him. And a spider. What's a spider? You gotta see Tenser's floating disc.
I think that would be cool. So to touch on two things you just said, they have spoiled a specific character from D&D.
Is it Volf? Is it the spider lady? Is that her name? I don't know.
Oh, you're thinking of Lolth.
Lolth. There we go. That spider. I think she and Drac. Oh my god. What the fuck fuck, my Dritz.
Her and Dax, and I think Odo shows up for a while.
Yeah, her and Dritz like banged in a cave somewhere.
I'm sure that's happened. I haven't read any of those books, but no, the actual named character that has been revealed now is Tiamat.
Oh well, of course that makes fucking sense.
So
you got a 5-headed dragon with 5. It's like this game and this dragon were made for each other.
Yeah. So her cost is
yes. Is Nicole Bolas gonna like sneak up on and get all up in Tiamat and be like, honey,
that'd be amazing.
Let's make a cool dragon baby.
I would love that. So Tiamat is 2 Wooburg for a legendary creature, a dragon god, 7/7 flying. And whenever it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, search your library for up to 5 dragon cards, not named Tiamat, that have different names, reveal them, and put them into your hand.
Get you a whole horde of boyfriends.
Yep. Get you an entourage.
Get you the blue-red one, Ms. Nivitz. Niv
Mizzet.
Thank you. You got Nicole, you got Ugin.
This whole episode is me trying to guess what you are trying to say.
God, I'm so bad at names.
So, other cards that have been revealed so far are Portable Hole.
I got a lot of good memories about a portable hole.
There's Power Word Kill.
Oh, that's fun.
And Prosperous Innkeeper.
Well, that's just an innkeeper.
Yeah. I think it's cool. I'm enjoying what I see so far. I do think it's kind of weird because some point soon after this, they're going to be releasing their Lord of the Rings Universes Beyond set, which will feel like so similar to this.
Well, no, because you got that sweet flavor, right? Like there's like little Easter eggs. Okay, look, yeah. I know I was very negative to begin with. You know, that's just me. I'm trying to be hipster cool and be like, I liked D&D before it was cool, which is not a lie because I've not been alive that long. But also, like, it's just fun because, like, when you said portable hole, I just imagined all the dead bodies that we used to stick in portable holes in D&D. So, you know, there's stuff like that. Like if they have the bag of holding, which is something iconic and they need to have.
I think that already exists. They've already made that card in a core set.
Oh, really?
But that would be a brilliant reprint for this set.
So then let's go through. What do you think they will put in D&D wise? Let's call it now. Let's name 3 things.
3 things that will be in this set, and this is Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
Probably they'll have what's his name. Now it's my turn to stumble with a name.
The problem is I'm not gonna know it. Go ahead.
Zat Sam.
I don't know who that is.
He's like the Lich of the Red Wizards. Oh my god. The Red Wizards of Thay. Yes, I remember that. Zastam. That was the guy's name.
What a name.
So I think he could be in there. Zastam.
I don't know what Forgotten Realms is.
That's the Waterdeep world.
Is Vecna a part of that?
I think so.
So then I would like to see some cool artifacts of like the left hand of Vecna and the left eye of Vecna would be pretty cool. I'm gonna count that as 1.
That's a good prediction because that just begs to be designed into Magic cards that do something together.
There's got to be some Paylor shit, right? Will they bring in gods? Is Forgotten Realms? I mean, the pantheon of Forgotten Realms is still the pantheon that I'm assuming because I just played D&D 3.5 and whatever was in the handbook and the whatever that's what we had.
I think they did some shaking up of it, but yeah, I'm sure that you're right.
So there's got to be some Paylor cleric class. Like all the clerics should be of Paylor or, the light gods. I think Maihene is another one. So I think there's going to be some Paylor stuff. I just don't know much about Waterdeep or Forgotten Realms, I guess. So...
Yeah, I mean, basically, the reason I bring up Waterdeep is because the entire time I played in the Forgotten Realms, we were in Waterdeep, because that's what was being pushed at the time. Like, all the material was Waterdeep.
Do you think, did they already have a 10-foot pole card?
They don't. No. That's a funny one.
Or
oh,
like,
do you think this will see the return of traps?
I don't know. Well, it would be fun. That would
make sense to me. The weird thing is that maybe they wouldn't do that though, because the weird thing is that Zendikar, original Zendikar, the whole idea of it was it's like D&D world. It had quests, it had traps, and so the danger from their perspective is, yeah, you can bring those things back, but then it just feels like Zendikar world again. So maybe they won't do that.
Maybe they'll do something similar to how they did in Gingerbread set with the Ginger Brute, Eldraine. Where it's like you get to cast something, but it's like a quest. Well, you already said quest, but I just think of like you get like adventure hooks, right? Like,
yeah,
help me! I need help finding my dog.
I think quests would be cool because that's how quests were these enchantments where once you achieve X goal, you get X reward. Which
that would be super fun.
Yeah.
So something would be like some sort of XP mechanic in it would be pretty cool.
They've had an experience counter mechanic in supplemental sets, like in conspiracy sets or something like that. So that might be cool as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm done talking about it.
Level up. I mean, there's lots of possibilities that they could bring back.
Yeah. I mean, we've got those level up, like Warden of the First Tree and that shit.
The last thing that they revealed was an alternate card frame type that they're going to have, which is to make it look like an old school D&D illustration character sheet.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of neat.
That is neat.
If you're into that thing. Oh, and Vorpal Sword. That's the last thing that they've revealed from that.
Of course. Snickety snacker. Snickety snackety. Zoop goes your head.
Jeep jop.
Jeep jop. Your head's right off.
Other than that, they're talking about more secret layers are going to come out.
Meh.
That's no surprise. Local game store play is coming back very soon.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense.
That's pretty much it. Those are the announcements.
Good. I'm sick of talking about magic.
All right, sign us off then.
This has been Red Mage, Blue Mage, where we talk about magic a lot, sometimes Pokemon, and also other things. Like, what else did we talk about today?
Guns.
Oh, yeah. We talked about guns a little bit. How people need to get their shit together. Anyway, I gotta go. It's been almost an hour of recording, and I need to lay down. I almost said love you, bye to the podcast. So yeah, love you, bye. See you next time on Red Mage, Blue Mage. I'm Amber, Red Mage with the bolts.
I'm Kenny, Blue Mage Web.
And what do you have?
I got the counterspell.
Okay, bye.
Bye.